Hello everyone. Today we're going to make a yarn feather. The packet you got from the library should have a bookmark, just about 20 feet of yarn in it. That's it. Everything else you're going to need, you should have at home, hopefully. What you will need is scissors, a brush of some sort. I am using a pet brush that has the more spaced out bristles, or a hairbrush, or a small tooth comb. The reason why I point this out is I do not recommend using a pet brush that has the small, more sharp teeth that are close together that you would normally see in a pet brush. And then you are also going to need tape. So I'm going to show you some examples first of what we're going to make today. The first examples are going to be the more fluffy type of feather. This one looks more like a leaf, but you can cut it thinner once we get to that point to make it look more like a feather if you want. But this is more of a wide fluffy feather. And the next two are actually going to be I made with the optional part that we're going to do with this tutorial. And this is more of a shaped and stiffer feather that I'm going to show you how to make as well at the end. So what you're going to do is you're going to take the yarn that you were given in your craft kit, and you're going to kind of pull it apart, make sure it doesn't get tangled. And you're going to take the end and measure out about 6 to 8 inches and then double it up. And you'll take your scissors and cut that loop. So this is going to be like the stem of our feather right here. So what you're going to do next is take the top here and you're going to make a knot. Make it as big, make the loop as big as you want, but you don't want to make it too big, you know, and then pull it and tighten it. So there's our base stem of our feather. Next, what you want to do is take 2 pieces of tape. You want to tape the top of the loop onto your work surface. Take another piece of tape, pull it a little taut, not too tight, just taut, and tape the bottom like this. Next thing you're going to do is take the end of the yarn that you have left, take your hand, and you're going to start with the end of the yarn between your middle and ring finger. Hold it with your thumb to start, and then loosely wrap it, and then you can let your thumb go after you get it secured. But loosely wrap it around your hand. And this is why we didn't want to have knots in it before, was because we were going to be doing this. You can continue to pull your fingers apart to make sure you don't have it too tight. And then once you have it wrapped all the way around, you want to get your fingers underneath on the ring finger side like this. You're going to pull it off your hand, keep holding it, and you're going to take your scissors and you're going to cut across. You might have an extra couple pieces like this one, but that's fine. That's just extra. You can toss that. But now we have all of our pieces that we're going to tie to make our feather. But what you're going to do is you're going to take your first piece like this. You're going to fold it in half, You're going to put it underneath the main piece, just like this. Then you're going to take your second piece, like this. Do the same thing, but this time you're going to take the non-looped end, stick it through the loop of the first one, like this, and then pull the non-looped end of the first one through and pull. And then push your knot towards this first knot that you made in your stem. And there you have your first one. The second one, you want to do it the opposite way. So you're going to take your first piece, loop it through from the right-hand side instead of the left this time. And then the next one, stick the unlooped ends through, pull the unlooped end through of the first piece, pull, push up to the top, and then you can tighten it as you go. So you're going to continue doing this until you have tied all the ones that you were given. We're going to fast forward here until I have everything tied. Now, once you get to the end of your pieces, you may have an extra one left over. If you have an extra one, just toss it. It's fine. You don't need all of them because you don't need to fill the entire stem. So once you have your last one tied, kind of pull it tight. And then this is where you're going to take your brush and you're going to brush. Now the important part of this step is patience. Don't try and go too fast. Don't try to start from the center and go out. The important part is to start from the tips and work your way in. But what you want to do is hold down the center and press it firmly, and then slowly brush. What I also like to do is split it into groups so you don't have to worry about all of it at once. See if you, this is perfect. If you see this happen, what you can do is you can pull out the other piece, set that aside, and we can retie it later. It's just something to be careful of, but it will happen probably. And you will get these longer pieces every once in a while. That's just because they've pulled, and if they don't pull all the way out, you can pull it back as well. So I'm going to fast forward this part so you don't have to continually watch me. Now, for the purpose of time, I'm going to stop at this. You can continue brushing until you get all of them. You can see that I have some that didn't get brushed on this side, but then you can continue in doing it on this side as well. All right, so what you can see here is that I actually flipped it upside down. Since I'm right-handed, I was able to brush the other side a lot better if I flipped it and taped it back down and brushed from the right-hand side. Another thing, if you wanted to get it fully brushed, is you could also flip it over like this and brush on this side as well. Now it looks a little crazy on the edges, but we don't have to worry about that right now. If you had any extra ones that you accidentally pulled out, you'd want to tie it in. Next step is going to be taking the tape off of the unlooped end of your feather, and you're going to tie it, pull the knot as close to the bottom of your feathers as you can, and then you're going to brush this. So now we've got it brushed, we're ready to form it. So what you can do is kind of loosely pull it down towards the center like this, and then you're going to take your scissors and you're going to cut the shape of the feather loosely or roughly that you want. then once you have that, what you want to do is actually pull it off the table and kind of form it. And then if you realize that you need to cut any other pieces, you can actually roughly form it even more once you have it off the table. There is your feather. This is the non-stiff version. If you want to stick around, I will show you how to make it a little bit more stiff, where you can pose it, make something more like this if you want. This is the optional part. So we need a small bowl, Elmer's glue, a piece of wax paper that's big enough for your feather to fit on and enough room for you to make a mess. And you can use a small paintbrush for this, but I'm just going to use my hands. And then you'll need a little bit of water. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your small bowl and you're going to put about a teaspoon or so of Elmer's glue. What we're going to do is we're going to take this, put some water in it. To the point where it's about 2-in-1 mixture. Maybe a little bit less, but about that. And then you're just gonna mix it with your finger. So once you have that mixed, take your feather, lay it onto your wax paper, and just kind of lightly brush the water mixture onto your feather. And then once you think you have it enough, flip it over and do the other side. You can continually flip it and do the sides twice. That's what I did with the last two that I made. All right, now that we have that, what you can do is you can actually form it, and then however you form it, you're gonna leave it to dry. I'd say probably about 2 to 4 hours. So after about an hour and a half to 2 hours of letting this sit, I decided to let it sit longer. I would say letting it sit overnight worked pretty well. And both sides actually ended up drying. But once it is set, you can see that it's pretty stiff. And then once you have that, you could take your scissors again. And what you want to do is you can make it a nicer cut or edge on your feather. It makes it a little bit more cleaner, and you can form it to look more like a feather. And there you have it. That would be the optional version with the stiffness that you can form it and make it look more like a feather that way. And there you have it. Thanks for watching. I hope you get to make a lot of fun feathers and leaves with this. And as always, stay safe and stay healthy, and we hope to see you in the library again soon. Take care.